Well, I'm very happy to be here, and I'm excited about being able to share a little bit about the Buddhist path with you, and perhaps how Buddhists look at peace and the world around us. I think the Buddha was a pretty cool guy myself, because when he was in India, he looked around and he realized that none of the gods, small g-s, in India could end the suffering of even one human being. And at the age of 29, he took it upon himself to find the end of suffering. And it took him 6 years. We assume, though, that he had many previous lifetimes of practice. And in those 6 years of extreme asceticism and renunciation and meditation, he learned what it meant to be a human being. He found the cause of suffering, and because of his enlightenment, he found the end to suffering. In the next 45 years, he taught the path to the end of suffering. People did not come to him to find out about God. They came to him because they were old and sick and dying. They came to him because everything in their life that they truly loved, cherished, and tried to hold on to was taken away from them. And the culprit was impermanence and change. They realized they didn't like everybody they came in contact with. They didn't like all the places they found themselves in. And yet they couldn't do anything about it. So when they came to the Buddha and said, how do I end my suffering? How do I end my anxiety? How do I end my fear? He shared with them the Eightfold Path, which leads to the end of suffering. You might wonder if every Buddhist in the world is an atheist. Well, we're not. Actually, we're non-theistic. But it's not our fault. The Buddha never met a Jew. 2,500 years ago, the only people who were practicing the religion of the one God of the desert were the Jews. In his entire life, he never went any further than 200 miles from his birthplace. He never met anybody that simply believed in one God. When I speak to Buddhists, I find some of them believe in God, but that's not because of Buddhism. I find some of them don't believe in God, but that's not because of Buddhism. I find a lot of them don't know. That may be because of Buddhism. When I look at the world today in 2004, I see fear, anxiety. I hear the word terror and terrorism over and over and over again. And I don't think it matters how many armies we send out into the world. I don't think it matters how many regime changes we can effect in the world. Because terror and fear does not live in the world. Terror and fear lives inside our heart and our mind. The Buddha said this world we find ourselves in today has always been and will always be ultimately unsatisfactory. That there is no place to rest in this world that is ultimately safe, because it is constantly changing. I live in downtown Los Angeles. Some people think that's scary, but what really scares me is when I go to the forest. Because I know behind every rock and tree there's a lion, a tiger, or a bear. I know the path I'm walking on has poison oak just a few feet away. And those wonderful trees that protect me during the hottest part of the day, all it takes is one branch falling from 100 feet, and I'm a goner. So when I look at the world, I say, how can I possibly be safe in this place that simply wants to kill me every moment of every day? And I realize if I can't make the world perfect, at least I can make my heart perfect. And this is what I have come to understand. We need to do three things to have a perfect heart and a perfect mind. The first thing we need to do is practice love and kindness. In Buddhism, we always connect kindness with the word love. How might you do that? In Buddhism, they have something called a metta meditation. This is a loving kindness meditation. We perhaps could do that every morning. It goes something like this. May I be happy, peaceful, and free from suffering. May no harm come to me. May no difficulties come to me. May no problems come to me. May I always find fulfillment. May I also have patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome the inevitable difficulties, problems, and failures in life. Then I extend that loving kindness meditation to my teachers, to my parents, my brothers and my sisters, all my friends and relatives, all the people I don't know, which is most of them, and all the people I don't like. I hope that they can be happy, peaceful, and free from suffering too. So in the morning I start my day with the intention to love everyone I come in contact with. But I always fail. There's always someone I can't love. There are even some I don't like. What am I going to do about those folks? I can't get rid of them. So in the evening, before I go to sleep, I'll do a forgiveness meditation. I forgive myself for not being able to love everyone I come in contact with. I forgive all the people I couldn't love. And I hope one day to be able to love them. And for a long time I simply stopped there. But then I realized there were even some folks in this world I can't even forgive. What am I going to do about them? Now some people think this world is one, that the ultimate reality is one. I disagree with that. I think the ultimate reality in the world is unity. And I think the relative reality in the world is diversity. I don't want to make this world one. I want to make this world unified, because that allows us to be who we are. So now, rather than getting rid of all the ones that don't fit into the one, I say, how can I accept them exactly the way they are? I don't have to love them. I don't have to forgive them. But if I want my mind and heart to be in balance with the world around me, I have to be able to accept them. So once a week, I do a meditation on acceptance. For all the people I couldn't love, for all the people I couldn't forgive. My inner world is becoming healed and more peaceful, even in the chaos of this world we live in. I've stopped trying to change the world first. I realize I need to change myself first before I will be able to change the world. And to be honest with you, I think our term limits are far too short. Most of us are here 50, 60, 70 years. I think for one of us to change the world, it will probably take 1,000 years. In Buddhism, we have rebirth, reincarnation. So perhaps we have a chance to come back again and again and again to change the world. If we can remember where we left off in our last lifetime. I'd like to read something from the third Zen patriarch. Just the first paragraph, called Verses of the Faith Mind. The great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. When love and hate are both absent, everything becomes clear and undisguised. Make the smallest distinction, however, and heaven and earth are set infinitely apart. If you wish to see the truth, then hold no opinions for or against anything. To set up what you like against what you dislike is the disease of the mind. When the deep meaning of things is not understood, the mind's essential peace is disturbed to no avail. I tell people I have many opinions, but they have no value. I think it's okay to have opinions, but I realize every time I have an opinion, I am more separate from the world around me rather than more connected. And yet if I didn't have any opinions, I'd be a very boring person to listen to. What would I say? Unity and diversity. I think that is the only way we're going to save the world. To honor the differences and diversity of the world around us, and yet to see how that diversity is connected. Now, if you're a Christian, you might say, well, we're all connected because of God. But that would leave me out. I might say we're all connected because we're suffering. But sure enough, over there, somebody's having a good time. So that doesn't work. If we were meditators, we might say we're all connected through silence. There's always somebody talking someplace. Not only do we have diversity in unity, but I think the many ways we come together is diverse as well. I don't think we have simply one thing ever. It's always two or more. And yet somehow our mind, our consciousness, our ego feels that one is the ultimate number. And I've always felt many is the ultimate number, because that allows for everyone. I'd like to end this short presentation with something that hopefully will make you smile, because I find myself day after day, month after month talking about suffering, all the ways we suffer, how many ways we don't feel comfortable. And I feel sometimes I leave the room and everybody's in a big bummer. And I don't want to leave this room and have everybody in a big bummer. So what I did is I brought my harmonica with me. And because I'm a Buddhist, I played the blues. So here is a short tune about the blues.
Well, we promise you diversity. I never thought I'd see a harmonica playing Buddhist monk. That was quite original. Isn't that great? Yeah. So, how many of you like music?